So last week we spoke about the reasons why we decided to leave the UK and also the reasons why you should leave the UK. So in today's video we thought we'd speak about how you can take action and actually move abroad.
So grab yourself a drink because this is going to be one you want to hear. It's because you're being caught, isn't it? First of all, there's going to be a few different factors which will depend on your move from the UK. So, number one, how old are you?
Number two is what kind of lifestyle do you want to live?
Number three, how long are you looking for to move away?
And number four is what kind of experience do you have?
So let's get straight into it. First of all, there is going to be a various of routes that you can go down to move from the UK. And a few of these include the most common one is a working holiday visa, which is a work permit that allows travellers from the UK to take up employment to fund for your travels and while you live there and work, basically.
So the next one is a skilled visa, and that's when you can go to a country and work in a specific role that they might be looking for, whether it be nursing or hairdressing. It's a good opportunity to move to a country where they're looking for them sort of workers.
So you also have a sponsorship visa where a company has chosen to support you in moving to their country. One example of this is a company called Hayes Travel. They're really big in the UK and I have a few fellow friends. Few fellow uni mates on LinkedIn, and I know that a few of them have actually moved with Hayes to the Australia company because I know that they have them in Australia, I think New Zealand as well. So that's always a good route to go down if you are already working in the UK. Then it's good to just speak to your company and see what your options are.
It's the best way to also get sponsored, and that would be a route to stay in a place like Australia. So the main one that we're going to go in today is working holiday visas. It's the visas that we've been on for the last couple of years, which has allowed us to work in places like Australia and New Zealand where we are now. It's a good first step because you can kind of test the waters, see what it's like to live abroad and kind of get a feel for it before you fully commit. It just gives you a year or two to be able to see how much you like it.
Obviously there is multiple other visas that you can go down as well, also different routes, like if you have family members that live abroad, that's always a way to worm yourself into it. I mean mother and father, because I don't think it works for any other ones.
We're going to mostly speak about working holiday because that's where we have the most knowledge because we've experienced it ourselves.
So, first of all, you're going to want to think about what kind of lifestyle you're looking for, and that will depend on which country you take up your working holiday visa. So, we're going to start at the top, our favourite one, the one that we spent the most time in, and that is Australia.
So Australia will definitely appeal to you if you're looking for a laid-back life, but with the sun and also enough going on. There's plenty to do in Australia. It's the best place for an outdoor sort of lifestyle. If you like being in the sun, obviously on the beaches and stuff. If you want beaches, it's pretty much the best country you can go to.
And the high wage.
The high wage
also
is the massive positive, I think. If you're looking for a good wage out of any of the working holiday visa countries, Australia is by far number one.
Yeah, and it's just that whole work-life balance that you get in Australia. You just feel so energized, so happy. The sun's always out, well not always, but most of the time it is out. And apart from the scary animals, which is a big myth because you never see them. You never see them. Due to the new trade deal with UK and Australia, right now when you're watching this, you can actually apply for your working holiday visa without doing any farm work. So you can get up to 3 working holiday visas without doing any regional work, which used to be a big turn off to people. Let me tell you, I think everyone should do farm work.
Yeah, we had the best experience. Obviously we can't speak for everyone who's done farm work because some people probably hated it. It helps that we met there.
Yeah, it does.
So
but it's just that whole experience.
The whole experience was honestly probably the most memorable, well, one of the most memorable things from going travelling was that. But at least you don't have to worry about it now.
To be honest, there is a negative because if you wanted to do your, was it third year in Australia?
Year, you had to do 6
months of farm work.
And we were not prepared for that.
No.
Imagine if we did 6 months and then they
brought it in, I know.
I'd be fuming.
Yeah. Bear in mind when you do go on your working holiday visa in Australia, you can only work with one company up to 6 months at a time. There's ways around this. For example, I worked with the same company in Adelaide and then I transferred to Perth and it reset my 6 months because it was different like ABNs where they would pay me. It's a big confusing, but
there is ways around.
There is ways around extending. Like, you can ask for an extension if you've got a valid reason. So don't get put off by that.
No.
But obviously that's unless a company does want to sponsor you, and then you can just stay with them until your contract ends, which would be a good route to go down.
But you're going to be probably travelling quite a lot in Australia, so you might not find yourself in one place for that long anyway.
Unless you are, but if you, like, your journey is that you want to go settle there, then there's, some people do have a base and just venture off.
Yeah. So the age limit for that is between 18 and 35. They actually extended it a couple of years ago. It was originally 30, but now you got an extra 5 years to come Australia, so.
Which I think is really cool,
Which I think
35.
Yeah.
So before you even enter the country, you just have to make sure that you have proof that you have money to live off while you're there, and that requirement is actually 5,000 Australian dollars, which is equivalent to around 2.5k British pounds.
2.5k.
Sometimes they don't ask you, it really depends, but
You
just
have to submit it in
obviously.
your application.
Oh yeah, you did
visa.
actually.
Yeah,
We didn't,
And then finally, obviously you can't have any criminal convictions, so I don't know how you got in.
yeah, proof.
Yeah, obviously no criminal convictions, so it's best to behave yourself.
So obviously if you want more in-depth videos about Australia, be sure to check out all our videos that we've done on Australia, because there's plenty of them. But anyway, we're going to go on to the next one, which is where we are now, and that is New Zealand.
So again, it depends what kind of lifestyle you're looking for. There's obviously 2 islands in New Zealand, the North and the South Island. We're on the North Island at the minute. It's got Auckland, which is the biggest city. It's more hills and a bit more greenery and stuff. I think it's got some volcanoes, which is pretty cool. So that's what's on the North Island. The South Island is a lot more mountains and lakes. It's meant to be amazing, the South Island. It's definitely on our list as soon as we get the chance.
I'm not too bothered about doing the North Island, but the South,
it's meant to be some of the best scenery in the world.
Yeah.
So I think if you're looking for mountain jobs or like outdoor jobs,
skiing jobs,
anything like that, then the South Island is definitely going to be a place. I don't know how easy it is to get into them sort of jobs, but if you can.
You obviously have to do it, apply before you do the season, but we'll get into that in a minute anyway.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about New Zealand is you have the option to apply for a 12-month, 24-month or a 36-month visa, whereas Australia you have to do your 1 year and then extend. Whereas this, you can just be like, right, I want to stay there for 36 months.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And you can just apply for it, which I think is really good.
It's good if you know you're going to commit to that long. We've just done a year. I think we're
Gotta go back to Australia.
Go back to Australia. So, yeah, we love it there. So if you apply for the 23-month visa or longer, then you have to actually do a medical examination or an X-ray. I'm not sure why.
It's to just prove that you're healthy
Prove
and
you're healthy
not
and-
bringing any, I guess, strain to their government.
True.
So speaking of requirements as well, if you choose to stay longer than 12 months, you'll also have to provide a police certificate to prove that you are a good character, is what they call it. So yeah, a bit more stricter than Australia actually, if you want to stay longer.
So another rule in New Zealand is you can't accept a permanent job.
And that's for all this is British people, by the way. Like
we're going off obviously what we know. We don't know about all the different countries' requirements, because that would be crazy.
Yeah, you can work up to however long you want, you just can't accept permanent work, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, and I don't understand it, because we have a visa, we're not going to go over that visa.
Yeah, exactly.
So a bit like Australia, you have to be able to prove you have a certain amount of money. New Zealand is 350 New Zealand dollars per month they ask for, but you only have to prove this if you're staying longer than 12 months. If you're just doing the 12-month visa, then you don't have to prove it. Whereas if you stay longer, then you do have to prove it. So we didn't actually have to
Luckily,
prove.
we didn't have to.
Yeah, because obviously how poor I am.
So one of the downsides to New Zealand is the wage is nowhere near as good as Australia, despite it being almost just as expensive.
It is so expensive.
In fact, for food,
it's so much more.
it's even more expensive.
Yeah.
And then the wage is way less. Like, how does that work out? I don't understand why their wage is so low,
Yeah,
and
weird.
Australia can just afford to pay everyone's wages so
Maybe
high.
because there's more people in Australia, I don't know.
Maybe, I'm not sure what the reason is. It seemed like they're quite happy with people leaving and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why. If you're looking purely for money, then I would definitely say Australia over New Zealand.
Yeah, obviously New Zealand, we only wanted to do New Zealand to travel, but we just had to come
We had to come
work.
in, yeah.
One good thing actually, if you do have your own business and you've been in that business for longer than 6 months, then you can come over to New Zealand and you can just stay here for as long as you want, because you're providing a service and it's your own business and you can prove that you're earning enough money. But like I said, if you want to know more details on visas, definitely have a look at the New Zealand Gov website.
So the next visa country is Canada. This one's a bit different because we've never been to Canada.
But we would like to go, but I don't think
we're going to get a visa. I think our final visa we do will be Australia.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely want to go there for travel because it looks like amazing. Depending on which kind of lifestyle and stuff you're after, Canada obviously gets freezing in the winter. It gets to like -20 or something, or -30 in some places.
I don't think we even see that in the UK, do we?
Never ever seen that in the UK, so I think you've got to be prepared for that in Canada. Again, it's good opportunities for skiing and stuff.
Yeah.
The summer gets hot, so I guess if you like a bit of both, then maybe it's a good option for you. They're quite extreme. It goes from being pretty hot to being absolutely freezing.
Unlike Australia, actually, the more north you go in Canada, the more snowy, rocky, colder it gets. No one really actually lives in the north because it's too much hassle. Whereas if you go more southeast and southwest, you have a mixture of green valleys, sandy deserts, city life. It's just, yeah, a bit different and more habitable. Is that the word?
Yeah, good word. So in terms of the wage for Canada, we can't comment exactly because we haven't had a job there, but I've heard from what you get paid to how expensive it is, it's one of the worst ratios out of...
I have an example actually. So I work with someone now and she actually did a working holiday visa in Canada. Told me that her partner was a chef and he was getting literally $12 an hour. But she worked for a recruitment agency.
12 an hour? That's terrible.
I know. I think she got a job at like the university doing admin or something. Yeah. She was on a bit higher. I think she was on like 24 or something.
I hear 12 for a chef.
I swear it was something like 12. That might be exaggerating, but I think
surely not.
I said that.
Chef's jobs are stressful.
Yeah, no, I said that. Like I thought it'd be more. I'm gonna probably get all the Canadian haters in the comments.
It's not $12.
Premium dollar, David.
It's meant to be ridiculously expensive.
It is meant to be really expensive as well, which is why we're just like, actually, we've done New Zealand, I can't be bothered for that again.
I think that's a massive lifestyle change as well, going from here to Canada.
I kind of love like how it's so cozy, you get your little coffee shops.
It does look cool. We can't wait to visit. It's definitely on our list to visit.
So you will also need to prove that you have health insurance.
A frog.
You will also need to prove that you have health insurance for the entire length of your stay. You also have a few more different stricter requirements than Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
For one, you have to show them your CV, your resume. You have to actually have a police certificate, like that's a note, like you have to have it. Which I feel like as we're talking about these countries, they're getting stricter and stricter.
Yeah, I've heard they take fingerprints and everything before
they do.
You have to get a visa. And they only let a certain amount of people in as well.
And I think this is why I was so put off, because it just seems like a lot of hassle.
Yeah, in Australia we could just book it and go. Another thing that's with the Canadian visa is you might get asked to do an interview, and you can also stay up to 24 months or 2 years in Canada. That's how long the visa you can get.
I think I heard something, it depends on how many people there are there, because sometimes they'll only actually approve you to do 12 months.
Yeah.
I think it seems a bit stricter in Canada than it is. Definitely way stricter than Australia.
Yeah, Australia just seem happy letting anyone in at this point, don't they?
Yeah, if you're gonna work hard in Australia, then they're like, yeah, come, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Now we're on to our final working holiday visa that we're gonna talk about today. Bit of a contrast from the three that we've just spoke about, and that is South Korea. So I feel like when people hear the word Korea, they automatically think of North Korea. When people talk about South Korea and North Korea, they automatically think they're
very different, aren't they?
They're so different. So South Korea, again, if you're looking for a challenging kind of working holiday visa, because obviously there will be a lot of
language, haven't you?
We don't have to learn it because a lot of people do speak English.
True, but still, it would help if you knew the language.
It'd be a great opportunity. It's very beautiful as well. You get cold winters, but you get very humid and hot summers and wet summers. So 70% of South Korea is actually hills and mountains, which is so lovely if you like to hike as well. I never would have expected that for South Korea. No. And yeah, I guess if you really want to deep delve into the culture, then I guess it would be the place for you, but let's get into it anyway.
If accepted to South Korea, you'll be given a H1 visa, and it means that you have 1 year to work and travel in South Korea.
So first of all, I just want to say one crazy thing that you don't have to do for the rest of the visas we just spoke about. Normally you'd go online and you'd apply for the visa. South Korea, you have to write your application and send it to the embassy.
So the ages for South Korea for the working holiday visa there is 18 to 30.
Bit similar to New Zealand and Canada.
So they only have 1,000 visas to give out to UK citizens, which is not much at all.
No, and that's each year. So if you
Yeah.
miss the gap, then you have to wait till next year to apply.
Yeah, I do wonder how many people actually do go though from the
Yeah,
UK.
true actually. I think.
Probably more than 1,000 though. You'd probably be lucky to get the
Well,
visa.
this is the working holiday visa. So if you want to go teach English,
that's
it's
different.
a different
Yeah,
visa.
that's
Just to let you know. Also, all visa applications, you have to submit a travel plan to just advise, I guess, the embassy, like what your plans are, what your intentions are. You're not just coming here to doss around, I guess.
Doss about.
I doubt anyone's going to South Korea to doss around,
I know,
but
you'd be going there with serious intentions you would to go to South Korea.
yeah.
I feel like people go to Australia to just party, whatever.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really
No,
go to
no.
South Korea with that. You'd have a proper reason for going, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
And South Korea, unlike its neighbour to the north, is much safer. It's one of the safest countries, I think, in Asia.
Yeah.
Meant to be really nice and
Really low crime.
really modern as well. I think it kind of gives me Japan vibes.
Oh, don't be put off by its name, Korea, because it's actually really beautiful and really lovely.
Yeah. So they are the working holiday visas that we're going to talk about today. They are the main ways you can definitely move out of the UK. It's the way that we did it. There's obviously so many other ways that you can move out of the UK. If you work for yourself, that's a massive one because you could live in a lot of countries. I know everyone's moving out to Dubai and stuff now.
Yeah.
Everyone goes out and lives in America if you work for
There's
yourself.
so much opportunity.
So there's so many opportunities. We're just talking for people who are in our situation. If you have an online business or something, then to be honest,
I would just
I don't know
go
what, I don't know
for
what
it.
you're doing in the UK.
You're wasting your
If
time.
you've got an online business, because you might as well go.
Or any business. Like if you're a
Yeah.
hairdresser, a nail technician,
true.
get yourself to Dubai where you don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Even for a few years, just do it
Might
until,
as well. Get a
until
bit of
everything
sun,
settles
do you
in
know
the
what I
UK. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a good time. I think this is the best time. I'd say if you're at the right age, you might as well go out. For the UK.
If you're between 18 and 30 and you've not got obviously kids, but even if you have got kids, there's still options. There's always options.
Yeah,
I would just
might as well.
leave.
And I don't think you'll regret it. Even if like you might miss home straight away, but you won't regret the whole experience.
We definitely have never regretted a thing, have we?
Even when it's shit, you still don't regret it because it's all positives.
So yeah, that is going to conclude our video on how you can leave the UK. Obviously, it's personal preference, which we always explain in all of our videos.
Yeah, if you're happy in the UK, then obviously stay. But if you're
Each
not,
your own.
if you're not, then there is so many options to be able to leave, and don't think that it's so complicated because it's not.
No. There's plenty of advice out there.
Yeah.
For example, our channel. Well, thank you for watching. We hope you liked it. Remember to subscribe to our channel and to follow our TikTok page.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the next video.